All right, let's dive into a topic that's both fascinating and, honestly, a little bit terrifying: mountain sickness. We're going to explore what actually happens inside your body when you head up into that thin air.
Yeah, that sounds super dramatic, right? But for climbers, hikers, and anyone who travels to high altitudes, this isn't just a hypothetical question. It's a very real danger. The very thing that gives us life, the air, can become your biggest enemy. So, how does that even happen?
Okay, so first things first, we've got to talk about the thin air problem. Now, here's a common misconception. It's not that the percentage of oxygen in the air changes. The real issue is the drop in atmospheric pressure. With every single breath you take, you're just physically getting fewer oxygen molecules into your lungs.
And that lack of oxygen has a name: hypoxia. It's the technical term for your body being starved of the oxygen it needs to function at the cellular level. Think of it like trying to run a high-performance race car on watered-down fuel. It's just not going to work right. This stress on your system is the trigger for everything bad that's about to happen.
So this is where things can get really serious really fast. This low oxygen state, this hypoxia, can spiral out of control and lead to two major life-threatening emergencies. You've got HAC, which is all about the brain, and HAP, which is all about the lungs. Let's break down exactly what's going on in each of these scenarios.
First up, let's tackle HAS. That stands for high-altitude cerebral edema, and what it really means is brain under pressure. This is your body's attempt to solve the oxygen problem going catastrophically wrong, creating a pressure cooker situation right inside your skull.
So how does this play out? Well, your brain gets desperate for more oxygen, so it does what seems logical. It opens up the floodgates. The blood vessels widen to try and pull in more blood, more oxygen. But this creates a massive traffic jam in the brain's tiny capillaries. The pressure just skyrockets. And when that pressure gets too high, the vessels start to leak fluid directly into your brain tissue. This causes the brain to swell, which, as you can imagine, is incredibly dangerous inside the fixed bony space of your skull.
Okay, so that's the brain. Now let's shift gears and look at the lungs with our second emergency: HAPE, or high-altitude pulmonary edema. And here's what's so wild. You'd think the lungs would do the same thing as the brain, right? Open up to get more blood? Nope, they do the complete opposite, and it's just as deadly. Check this out. Instead of opening up, the blood vessels in your lungs get the low oxygen signal, and they start to constrict. They squeeze shut. It's the total opposite of what we just saw in the brain.
But it gets even weirder. This tightening isn't uniform. It's totally patchy. So you end up with this chaotic situation where some blood vessels are clamped down tight while right next to them, others are still wide open.
And you can probably see where this is going. All the blood that should be spreading out across your entire lung network is now being violently forced through just a few open channels. It's like taking a whole river and trying to divert it down a couple of tiny streams. The pressure becomes insane, the vessels can't handle it, and fluid leaks out, literally flooding the air sacs in your lungs. You're essentially drowning from the inside out.
So let's just pause and put this side by side, because this is the whole story. You've got this same exact problem, not enough oxygen, causing two completely opposite reactions in the body. In the brain, the vessels widen, which leads to swelling. In the lungs, the vessels constrict unevenly, which leads to flooding. Two totally different paths to disaster. Understanding this difference is absolutely key. Okay, so given how serious all of this is, how in the world would you know it's happening to you or someone you're with? Well, thankfully, your body starts screaming for help. It sends out some massive warning signs. And this is the part where you absolutely cannot just tough it out. You have to listen.
And these are the red alerts. We're talking about shortness of breath even when you're just sitting still, not being able to walk in a straight line, skin starting to look bluish, especially around the lips and fingernails, a severe headache that comes with confusion, a wet, bubbly cough, maybe even with blood in it, or someone just seeming really out of it. These are not subtle hints. These are full-blown emergency signals.
Now, assay and HAPE are the immediate dangers, the acute emergencies. But there's another side to this coin for people who live at high altitude for a really long time. It's called chronic mountain sickness, and it's a perfect example of how too much of a good thing can become incredibly dangerous.
See, our bodies are incredible at adapting. You go to altitude, and your body starts making changes to cope. But for some people, over many, many years, that adaptation process goes into overdrive. The very changes that were meant to help you survive start to become harmful.
And what happens on the inside is just wild. To carry more oxygen, the body goes crazy producing red blood cells. So many that your blood literally turns thick,
like sludge. This makes your heart work way, way harder to pump it. The pressure in the arteries of your lungs goes through the roof, and the right side of your heart, which does all that work, gets so enlarged and overworked it can lead to congestive heart failure. The very adaptation meant to save you ends up being the thing that hurts you.
Okay, that was a lot of scary stuff. So the most important question is, how do you prevent all this? The really good news is that mountain sickness is almost entirely preventable. You just have to be smart, and above all, you have to respect the altitude.
So here it is, your safety playbook. Number 1, go slow. Give your body time to adjust. Don't rush. Number 2, the old saying is climb high, sleep low. Gradually increase your sleeping altitude. 3, know the signs we just talked about. 4, use supplemental oxygen if you need it. There is zero shame in that. And number 5, the golden rule, if your symptoms are getting worse, you must go down immediately.
And that brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. It doesn't matter how close you are to the summit. Your ego has to take a back seat. The most effective, the most powerful, the only real life-saving treatment when things get bad is to go down. Early descent saves lives. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the smartest and bravest thing you can do on a mountain isn't pushing forward, but turning back so you can climb another day.